So this person agrees with what I'm saying. Nobody ever wants to take accountability. Everything good and bad in your life is due to your own actions. People don't like hearing that. It is the realest fucking truth. If you're living a good life, it's more than likely, unless you've just inherited money because you're the son of some king or some rich celebrity and that. If you're living a good life, more than likely it's because you've put in the work throughout the years. You've been disciplined throughout the years. Equally, oppositely, if that's even a word, if you're living a bad life, I'm telling you, you've made some bad decisions, and the problem is you're just oblivious to it. You don't even know that you've made these mistakes. You see, there's chicks that I meet and they tell me like, my oldest is 18 and I'm 37. And I'm thinking, raw, like you're having a child at 19. You're having a child at 18. But then, like, they would have their first child at 19 and then have their second child at 22, 23. Nah. You see, that's where they fucked up. Obviously, they fucked up with having a child at 19. Yeah. The real fuck up was the second child. Yeah. Let me tell you something right now. Yeah. If I was a female and I had my first child at 19, please believe the next child I have, there's going to be one fat age gap to the point where they think the oldest, at some point when the oldest is old enough, the oldest can be the next child's parent. Put it this way, I'm 18 years older than my little sister. Now, obviously, I've got a little brother who's 26, but there is a massive gap between me and my little sister. And funny enough, you see, when I was growing up, my mum and stepdad, like, they could only provide so much for me, yeah? So put it this way, there was certain times where, you get me, there was hand-me-downs, and I'd wear my cousin who's just a year older than me, I'd wear his trainers to go and play out on my estate, yeah? My mum and stepdad, unfortunately, they weren't as established as they are now. So I lived a certain life, I had to go without. I always had food on the table and clothes on my back and that. But, yeah, my life was a lot different than my little sister's life. Because my parents were much older when they had my little sister, they were way more established. You see, my little sister has an abundance of trainers lying around. My little sister has an older brother who buys her so much trainers, has bought her so much trainers, she's grown out of them without even fucking wearing them. I never had that luxury. My little sister always has money in her pocket or always has money available. Not for me. I had to go out and grind. Do you know why my little sister's in that position? Do you know why my little sister's life is a lot different to mine growing up? Like, same parenting, same household and that. But financially, do you know why it's a lot different? It's because her parents were much significantly older when they had her as opposed to me. I'm old enough to be my little sister's dad. When I walk down the road with her, people think she's my daughter. Yeah, that would be the position that I would be with my kids if I had one. If I was a female and I had my first child at 19, you best believe the next child, they're going to be a serious, maybe not 18-year gap, but there's going to be at least a decade in between the first and the second. Nonsense. So these people's problem is they don't learn from their mistakes. Because they have a defeatist, victim mindset. They lack accountability. Oh, it's not my fault. It's some person who's come from another country that I've never met. They don't live in my area. It's their fault. But how can that be? How can it be this way? How can it be certain people coming over and messing up the country allegedly? How can it be affecting certain people, but it don't affect me? How can that be? This is a rhetorical question. It's bullshit. You've seen that famous video online where there's a guy that looks like this wall behind me. He's saying that the reason why he can't get a job is because certain people have come over from another land stealing all the jobs. And then they went and done a little fact check and the guy has been convicted of some mad crimes and that. Whether he was convicted of any mad crimes or not, there's people that have not got any criminal record. They're just lazy. That's it. It's not his criminal record. He's just fucking lazy. That's it. You think I'll ever blame my problems on some people coming over from another land? When obviously, me personally, my grandparents came over from another land. They came from Jamaica. Yeah? It's just an excuse, man. So this is what separates the winners from the losers. The winners lose, but the winners don't make excuses. The losers also lose, but you guessed it, shock horror, they make excuses. Me, I've lost a lot of times. I've failed at certain things. Move on. Keep pushing. Don't blame no one else. Don't blame your color. Don't blame your area. Don't blame your upbringing. Don't blame nothing. Yeah? Okay, cool. These are the cards that I've been dealt with. What's the best move to make? How can I make the situation better? I remember one time when I was doing my motorbike test, when I was doing the training, so with the motorbike test, you do like a 3-day kind of like motorbike riding crash course. And I remember, and I'll always remember this, the riding instructor said, always be a part of the solution and not the problem. If you see someone, and I always implement this when I'm driving my car, riding a motorbike. If I see someone doing a mad maneuver and that, do you know what? I just give them as much space as possible. I'm not making it any more difficult for them. Just little things like that. I always remember that saying. Be a part of the solution and not the problem. Even if someone is driving like an idiot, even if someone is doing a maneuver they're not supposed to do, just let them do it. Just let them do it. Obviously, there's certain times you need to beep your horn at someone to let them know that they're doing wrong, because they might end up hurting themselves. Like people just being on an island in between the road and just stepping out thinking that cars are going to stop. No, cars are not supposed to stop for people on the island, you know. It's not a zebra crossing. Anyway, don't want to get too much into this fucking DSA, Driving Standards Agency. How the fuck did I go from talking about broke people and no accountability to talking about driving on the road? Anyway, I'm done.